You're listening to the Mopcast Network.
Welcome to the weekly Mopcast, your look at what's happening in pop culture and what's going on in the Mopcast Network. You can follow us on Twitter at Mopcast Network or on Facebook at facebook.com/Mopcast Network. Now here are your hosts, Scotty and Stephanie.
Welcome to the weekly Mopcast, episode 85.
85?
85.
I thought we already did 85.
We did 84 last time.
Oh, my gosh. 85.
85. 1985. That's where Marty McFly kept trying to go back to.
Yes.
And it took him 3 movies to do it.
Yes. I was 13 in 1985.
I was not. I was 8, depending on... Yeah, I was 8.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 and 8. That's my 7 and 8 year.
Awesome.
So, yay.
Yay, 1985.
Woo, 1985. I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always...
Your facilitator of fun, Stephanie.
Yay!
Woohoo!
We are broadcasting from the illustrious Gamers and Geeks podcast studio.
Yes, we are.
You like games?
I do like games.
I like games. What's your favorite game?
Oh, my gosh. I have several favorite games. I think last time we talked about this, it was Risk. But I like...
It's been a week now, so...
I don't know. I like all games.
Yes.
I like some role-playing games.
All right, what was your favorite role-playing game? How about that?
A Vampire the Masquerade.
There is a anniversary edition of that coming out in August.
That is awesome.
And from what I understand, and I could be wrong, but from what I read, was a fan conglomerate in Europe had pulled their European money to start publishing new versions of the game.
Okay.
So that's why we're getting new versions of the game. So I'm excited.
That'll be great.
You can check out... Gamers and Geeks has all kinds of cool stuff. They have a website where you can buy a bunch of Magic singles or Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles or Pokemon singles and all kinds of other card game singles and supplies and other things you need. Just go to gamersandgeeks.com. There will be a link on the show notes on the website. So, you either listen to, if you're not listening to this via the podcast, and if you are listening to the podcast, especially if you're listening through the Apple or Google podcast, please rate us. Rate us and write a little review and say, hey, Scotty and Stephanie are offices. I'd be appreciative if you gave us 5 stars. That helps us out.
That'll be great.
That would bump us up.
And if you want to leave us a message, we will personally get back to you.
We will. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to
I'd
anybody.
love to talk to you.
I'll talk to anybody. All kinds of stuff. Oh, there's so much stuff going on. We'll first talk about... You're hopped up on caffeine, you said?
Yes. I think we may have talked about this before, that I have been introduced to the Bang energy drink at
yeah, right.
Mopcast.
Mopcast. You can listen to the Mopcast episode.
So I now make a weekly trip to the Caffeine Core here in Mobile, Alabama, to buy a case a week of Bang energy drink, and this is what I go through a week.
What is the caffeine? Was it the Caffeine Core?
Yes, the Caffeine Core is on Old Shell Road near USA, and it has everything you can ever want that is caffeinated. So they specialize in ultra heavy duty caffeine products. So that's where I get my Bang from. So I was out of Bang this morning, so I left, early before work and stopped in and got my case of Bang and got an extra one for the afternoon. And I also got a large cup of Death Wish coffee this morning, which is the strongest coffee you can buy.
Where do you
which
get?
They also sell.
Oh, okay. So
they also sell Death Wish coffee.
Coffee.
And I also purchased a caffeinated chapstick.
Okay.
They have caffeine inhalers there. They have tons of energy drinks. They even have Surge.
Okay.
It's awesome. This place is awesome.
We'll have to check it.
Caffeine gum, caffeine candy, caffeine lip gloss, caffeine everything.
All right, then. That's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, obviously, you.
So I've been highly caffeinated all day long. So
she's getting a free plug for the Caffeine Core. If I can find their website, I'll put it in the show notes.
Oh yeah, they do have a website. So
I'll
it's
throw it in the show notes.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a busy day, busy week. I've been busy a couple of weeks.
I've been busy. I've been doing. I had a tournament last Sunday, and actually Saturday and Sunday, and I saw a bunch of movies, and then I had to work. Like the 4th, I worked the 4th. I got on the roof of my casino.
Oh, wow.
to take video of the fireworks, or photos of the fireworks.
All right.
I had never been on the roof before.
I had to work on the 4th as well.
Oh, well, I guess the museum was open.
The museum was open. It really was.
No, I was there. I was there I worked a split shift, kind of, because I worked till noon and took an extended lunch because I want to be there so long. And since we have a movie theater in the casino, I went and saw a movie.
What movie did you go see?
I saw the first Purge.
Oh, I want to go see that. I went to go see a movie recently. Which movie did I go see? The Jurassic World.
Yeah, you and I saw Jurassic World together.
That's right.
With Paul, we went on my mother's failed skydiving attempt. So
that's it. That's the movie we went to go. That's the last movie I've seen.
So
lately.
So a week or so ago, Steph, I, and my brother Paul went to watch my mother fall out of the sky with her husband, my stepdad, because it's their 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
So we get up and we meet up, and we're going to go down there, and it's just storming. It's storming rain. So worst comes to worst, story is it didn't happen. So we ended up going and seeing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom instead.
Which was awesome.
Which was pretty good. I was surprised, actually. It's I didn't care for the first one, but I really like this one, if that makes any sense.
I liked it. It was nice to be able to get. I had been sick. I had pneumonia, and I was sick all weekend. And of course, we went to my husband's 30th high school reunion that weekend, and we were coming back from that.
Right.
And I had been sick, so we went to dinner, and it was like the first bit of food I'd been able to eat all weekend.
Right.
So it was awesome. I thought it was awesome.
It was good.
The movie was good, though.
Was
I
fun.
enjoyed it a lot.
So a lot what you expect, and then some weird stuff in there,
Yeah.
like clone human beings, which I was digging.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if they can clone dinosaurs, why not?
Right. It's like, wow, I can't wait to see more of this movie, and so hopefully we'll get some more.
Did your mom ever jump? Did
So
they
yeah,
ever do
so here's the story of my mother's jump. So that was Sunday. They rescheduled it for Tuesday. So I took off, drove from my work all the way down to the Floribama, which is on the Alabama-Florida line. That's why it's called the Floribama.
Right.
And for those on the MTV, there's a Floribama show.
Yep.
That's kind of like Jersey Shore. And it's really representative of us. So just watching and be like, oh, that's Scotty and Steph.
There you go.
And so I didn't realize how far the Floribama was.
Yeah. It's pretty far from where you.
Yeah, so it was like she was supposed to jump at 4:30. I didn't get there until afterwards, and I'm sweating because it's 4th of July weekend, which I had forgotten about, and there's construction for some reason because Alabama, and so I'm literally hitting every red light, which makes no sense to me. I mean, there's not like there's no flow. It's like, all right, you move a block and this other light goes, and you move a block and this other light goes, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to just die. So I'm almost there, and I get a phone call from her, and I'm like, oh, she's angry. She's already jumped. She's already landed. She's like, where you been? And blah blah. Turns out they hadn't taken off yet. They were getting ready to take off.
Oh, okay, good. They were late.
Whew. So it takes about 20 minutes for the plane to get to the jump point. So
Right.
I found it. I got parked. I found my brother and his boyfriend and my nephew. We had a sign. It was gonna be this whole big deal. And then she calls me and she says, we got in the plane and we started to take off and the engine died.
Oh my gosh.
So they're working on the engine. So we waited for a little bit. And then she called me back and she said, just go home. We can't jump today. So that's what
2 failed jumps.
2 failed jumps. So
Maybe the universe is trying to tell your mother something.
however, we'll be happy to announce that they finally got to jump on Sunday.
Oh, they did jump?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's video on her Facebook page of it.
Oh,
And
good.
so
I want to see it.
She had a blast. She loved it. She
Were you there?
No, I was not. I was in Louisiana. So, and she after the 3rd attempt, she was like, "I don't want you to come. Just we're just gonna do this." And so, she had a good time though.
That's
so
good.
it was cool.
Good for her. right.
Yeah, so she's got like she's flying through the air. And she's got her hair up, and it's she had a ponytail, but hair's hair, and you're flying terminal velocity, and she kind of looks like Bart Simpson or Guy Fieri. Just it's this blonde hair, just kind of sticking up as she's giggling, although she's lost her mind all the way down. So
I would have been terrified.
So it was funny. So
No.
she wants to go back again in May. So Ronnie's like, I'm done. He had a good time. He's like, I jumped it once. I'm good. So.
Yeah, my husband's done it twice. He enjoys it, but I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not. Maybe when I'm 60.
Okay.
I may jump when I'm 60. That's it. Gives me goals too. Like, I'll make it to 60 so I can jump.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have won my first theater award.
Congratulations.
And I was super excited. The story of that is kind of funny, though.
Please do tell.
Yes. So we had our awards, a big, our Joey Awards for JJP. And, I'm on the board, so I, go to these things. And I went right after work. It was a crazy busy day. I picked up all the catering, stopped and ran into a drugstore to buy 2 bottles of wine, just to have something to drink.
That good old drugstore wine.
I actually found some decent wine in there, but you know what I'm saying. It was those kind of days. So get there and hook up with some of my theater friends, and we all decide to sit in the back row. Because by the time the show started, we'd already been drinking some, and we're like, we're going to take all of our alcohol and just bring it up with us and sit on the back row and watch the show. And we were all making jokes back there saying, oh, we're all the bad kids, we're on the back row, and we weren't in any shows this season, and we're not going to win any awards, so we're just going to goof off and drink.
Right.
So the award show's going on, and it's hilarious. About an hour and a half into the show, and a bottle and a half of wine, they call my name, and I'm like, what? So here I am, drunk, having to walk from the back row all the way down.
It's like it's a slant.
Yeah, it's a slant, and of course I'm now emotionally vulnerable because I've been drinking. And I get up there and I try to give a speech, and I'm sure it didn't make any sense. And then I just started crying like a baby because I was just overwhelmed, and it was something.
What?
It was something.
Congratulations.
But I'm very excited. I'm very honored. I won the Executive Director Award, which I kind of, to me, it means more than an acting award.
You're recognized for your work, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I do a lot.
Right.
I feel like I do. But it was awesome.
Good.
It was awesome. Great. It was great fun. A lot of people.
Good.
Good little performances. It was funny.
So they usually do a good show.
They do. Harvey Jordan was the MC.
That's cool.
So, and he's hilarious.
I emceed it back in, I think, 11. And I ended up writing the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was in 11.
Yeah.
And that was the year we had one actress. It wasn't in this show, but during one of the shows had fallen into the pit.
Oh yeah.
And she had walked in, I think she was sweeping, and she just fell into the pit.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a hot drop.
It is.
When you fall into the pit. So I remember that, and I remember Rick Miller, who had directed us in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, was hammered.
Yes.
Hammered.
There were a lot of, I'm not going to mention any names because, I love my friends. There were several people that were hammered.
It's theater people. That's what they do. It's all right.
It was fantastic.
It's supposed to be jovial.
It was fantastic.
Dionysus was everywhere.
Yes. So, but we had a good time. Wenzel's catered it.
Oh, that's cool.
Time. So it was brilliant.
Very cool.
I loved
Very,
it.
very cool.
So it's good.
More interesting than I did.
Been watching a lot of soccer. World Cup's almost over, so you don't have to listen to me. But
I thought it was over.
No.
I hadn't heard a lot about it. I've been hearing more about us, the Taiwanese children's soccer team stuck in a cave.
Yeah, they rescued him.
I know, I heard that, which is great, which is a miracle. But I have yet to. Do you know how they got in the cave?
I have no idea how they got in the cave.
And they got like deep in the cave. It was like,
I don't know.
Did they just like, we're gonna play a game of soccer in the cave? It's like,
I don't know how.
Taiwanese coaches are harsh. You go to the cave now. You go to the cave. You stay in the cave right there. No, Johnny, you don't go. You stay in the cave. I don't think they're named Johnny, but you know.
No. But yeah.
You stay in a cave.
So it's been good. So my one of the teams I've been pulling for since Germany got kicked out actually made it to the final today. They beat England today. Yay, Croatia! I love Croatia. So there you go.
Someone needs to.
They are doing so good this year.
The Croatians have a history of just being pooped on.
I know, which is why I wanted them to like succeed in this. So they're doing good. And then AFC, our local soccer team, is playing their final game of the season, or home game of the season this Saturday.
Do they have a playoffs?
They did not make playoffs.
Oh, well. It's their first or second year.
It's their second year.
They'll get it next year.
Yeah, they're doing good.
They're still growing, so nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, they had way more wins this year than they did their first year, and they keep doing better and better.
Well, rock on. Congratulations.
Last week they won 11-0 against a team, so.
How do you, did they have a goalie?
They need improvement, the other team.
Do they have a goalie?
They have a goalie.
It's like, geez, 11-0. Goalie's like, I'm out.
Pretty much.
I'm going to take a nap. You score.
That's kind of how that went.
I mean, come on. You get to use your hands.
Your whole body. You can use your whole body as a goalie.
They're like, look over here. Okay. Score what? Curses. Look over there. Okay. What? It's like a cat with a laser light, just like meow, meow, score.
That's so sad, but yeah, that's pretty much how that went.
Oh man,
that whole game. You feel bad, but once again,
well, I would take the goalie aside and be like, you don't have a job.
Yeah, but that's the best keeper they had for that team, right?
Oh.
So anyway, a couple of weeks, soccer will be over. You won't have to hear me talk about it.
I don't mind
anymore.
hearing you talk about soccer.
It's been fun, though. I love it.
I'm glad you do. I mean, it's a fandom podcast. You're a fan of soccer.
I'm a fan of soccer.
It's absolutely acceptable to talk about soccer. I just
So that's what I've been.
Don't
busy.
know a lot about it. So
I have been busy watching soccer and doing theater stuff.
I mean, I understand what a goalie does. So
Soccer's not. I mean, yeah.
So I get it.
That's it.
But
anyway, that's been what's going on. Just theater and soccer in my life.
I have just a lot of work, and I'm working on a couple other projects. I got a Kickstarter for a comic that I've wrote. I'm hoping will be ready in a couple of weeks. So those listening, hey, if you like comic books about steampunk thingies, I wrote one. And
yes, indeed.
And you can help me out on the Kickstarter with its launch. I'm waiting on a logo from John, so it's gonna maybe a minute.
We'll be promoting the crap out of
Oh God, yes. For now until it's
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy. It is gonna be crazy, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Been working on that. I've been working on the card game stuff. Working on a couple other shows. I've been recording the Star Wars Harry Potter show with Justina. We have just started watching Harry Potter movies. I've seen 2.
So what do you think?
I like...
without giving away the podcast.
Podcast is not going to air for a couple of months, so most people will forget about this conversation. But because we're going to release them...
Are they 2 you have not seen?
Yeah, I've only seen 1.
Okay.
And I don't know which one that is.
Okay.
And I don't remember a lot with it. And I know it's not the ones I've already seen, so it's got to be... And I have a really good memory about that stuff, but this was with Justina's husband. We watched it, and it was before they were married. And I won't lie, there was drinking involved.
Oh, there you go.
And so I don't know.
So you've seen the first 2?
Yes, I've seen the first 2.
All right.
So I have a couple of complaints.
Okay.
And I mentioned this in the show, but here's the thing. Harry is very chill about the whole thing.
He is
a little bit super chill. Like Hagrid shows up and is like, "You're a wizard," and he's like, "Cool."
Right.
And he's like, "And there's magic," and he's like, "Cool."
Well, he's already been experiencing.
No, is he weird stuff? I know he's been doing weird stuff, but it's like, oh, that makes sense. I'm mad. Oh, there's magic in the world. Oh, oh my God, he's an 11-year-old boy. Wonder Matt. No, none of that. It's just like awesome,
Okay.
awesome, sweet, cool.
I get to leave these awful people. This
Right,
is awesome.
right. It's awesome. See y'all later. Peace out. I'm gonna go with a strange, hairy giant man. Bye. So that's the second. There are no consequences.
There will be, but
No,
you're right.
but
the first movie.
there's-
I had to think about it. It's been a long time since I've seen the first movie.
And I'm just going by the movies. And Justina,
Yeah.
so what I find interesting about watching Star Wars with Justina, and we've been doing it in order, is that in episode order, not release order, is that we're watching the story unfold and watching her
Right.
experience this, and it's really interesting. She's enjoying it watching Harry Potter through my eyes because she knows the books and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, I
So
do too.
she's got all this extra information that I do not have. And so when I brought up the thing about there's no stakes in this first film, she goes, "Well, there will be." I said, "Well, I'm not talking about what there will be.
Right.
In this movie, there are no stakes." And here's what I mean. Throughout the movie, House Gryffindor is they take points away from House Gryffindor, but immediately give them back.
Right.
They're like, "Well, Harry, you broke a rule, so 10 points off from House Gryffindor. But you did kill a giant, so here's 10 points for House Gryffindor." And I'm like, he's not learning a lesson at all.
Right.
There's nothing. And at the end, they're like, all right, so Slytherin's done won this cup, which means nothing, and I get it. But he's like, they done won this cup, and there's like, wait. Gryffindor gets some extra points, and Longbottom, because you stood up and, tried to stop your buddies.
Right.
Who are really not your buddies. They're kind of. I don't really see them as friends. He's just like a classmate. He's that guy in the corner that your mom makes you send a Valentine to.
Right.
That's Neville Longbottom. And so
He grows up to be gorgeous, by the way.
Well, okay, but he gets 10 points, and so they win. And I just looked and I was like, there are no consequences.
That you are very right, and I'm a Slytherin, so I was offended.
I'm a Slytherin too.
So I was definitely
The
offended.
funniest thing is that Justina, who I think wants to be a Gryffindor so bad, when she did Pottermore, she's a Slytherin.
That cracks me up.
Well, I want to get a Slytherin scarf.
We should get some. I have some Slytherin items, but I don't have a scarf. I need one.
I want a scarf.
But yeah, you're right, and that will happen throughout the series.
Which is fine.
I mean, you'll see that part, but there's going to be consequences for others.
And so my problem with the second film is Dobby's trying to kill Harry throughout the whole movie to keep him from. He's like, I don't think his intentions are not to kill him, but he's trying to kill Harry through the whole movie. And there's a scene where like they're playing Quidditch, and this Quidditch ball goes haywire, and it's really it's a murder ball, and it's trying to kill Harry. No one does anything to stop the match. No,
Right.
Or the adults are just. I mean, this thing is literally blowing its way through the stands. It's just and the adults are like, "Cool, this is a great game."
This is a great-
No, this ball is trying to kill this boy. He's 12. It's just, he dies. It's on your hands. They don't do anything.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
but you're true. You're right. It's funny though.
Harry keeps falling into like this stuff I actually didn't get a chance to mention, but I get being in the wrong place in the wrong time once. 3 times he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, dead or petrified with the petrified people or cats or whatever he's finding, and they're like, and then all the students are like, he did it. No, just because he was there, he doesn't really have like the means to do it. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
I find myself
It was my least favorite of the two.
watching the movies after I watched the movies and not really caring for the character Harry Potter. I love the movies. I love the books. I like the stories. But there are other characters throughout that
of course.
I like
Yeah.
way better than Harry.
I'm pretty sure you really, really like Snape.
Oh, of course I like Snape.
And I keep thinking Dumbledore's evil. I keep thinking, and I want Dumbledore to be evil. So, and the reason why I think is because I've been watching the prequels, and like Palpatine's evil, and I'm like, why don't you just be evil?
Keep that thought.
So
Keep that thought.
because I don't trust him. I don't trust Dumbledore, and I know he's like the greatest wizard of all. I guess he's the greatest or whatever. I don't.
Keep that thought.
And I don't hate Draco.
I like Draco.
Because I know they want you to hate Draco, But
I like Lucius too, but I'm just saying.
but meaning I don't like Lucius, but I met Lucius in this last film, and I get it. I get why Draco's Draco,
Right?
And I'm like, I pity Draco because he's like he ain't never had a chance, never had a chance to. So he's like, I don't know. I mean, I get trying to be a stern father, raise your son. You know,
Right.
I get that, but the boy gets injured, and he's like, I'm disappointed. And I'm like, why be disappointed? You should be angry.
There you go.
Would have been a better play. And then I talked about the Jason Isaacs thing, which I'll talk about in this because I don't think we've mentioned it on our podcast at all. So some of you fans may know this of our show. We went to Pensacon this year, and we recorded a bunch of panels, and we published a bunch of panels.
Right.
One of them was Jason Isaacs' panel. And Jason Isaac tells this great story that I retell in the other podcast. So you have to listen to the podcast to hear my reinterpretation. And the reason why it's a reinterpretation instead of me just clipping it in is because I got a cease and desist from Jason Isaac's people. Because he didn't want his copyrighted material on the internet. But then I got thinking, it wasn't a one-man show. It wasn't a prepared thing. It was just question and answers.
It was. It's Q&A.
Q&A. So
it's
not copyrighted. So it's like
not at all.
It's a conversation. You can't copyright a conversation. So I didn't fight it because A, I don't care. But it's B, I think it's kind of funny. I got my first season. It says, but I got to tell that story too. So it was kind of fun.
Other than that, it was a great.
It was great.
I mean,
it was
great.
It's great.
But I'm kind of disappointed because it was the audio. It's not. We weren't taking. We did take video.
We didn't take video because
we stopped.
No, I don't know. I wasn't taking video at all.
Yeah.
But he asked no video.
That's all he said was no
video, and we did that. He didn't say anything about audio, and I made an audio recording.
Yeah.
He needs to be clear. He also doesn't have a copyright on his conversation. Whatever. I'm again not mad. Jason Isaac's people, they're great. Jason Isaac's amazing. I'm a huge fan. So being a fan, I didn't want no trouble, so we pulled it. But it gives us a funny story, and that's why we just think it's funny. We find it amusing.
Yeah. There's that.
So that's been my journey through Harry Potter. I'll spoil this too, because I think this is funny. So at the end of our podcasts, we during Star Wars, I'll tell Justina the next Star Wars film is this, and what do you think it's about? And she's been doing the same thing for me for Harry Potter. So the next one is Prisoner of Azkaban. And I don't know, no idea. Something about I figure there's a prison.
A good one, though.
I figure there's a prison, and whatever. Hagrid went to it in the last movie, but knowing that Justina hasn't seen a lot of movies, I just started retelling the tale of Shawshank Redemption. And just went on, and she's watching me like this is good. He's coming out with stuff on top of his head. I'm literally just going. I'm just redoing it. I'm like, so Harry.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
I'm like, Harry. He goes thrown in jail for a crime he didn't commit. It's a crime of passion, which is weird because he's only 13, but they throw him in Azkaban prison where he meets a dude named Azkaban who's a guy who can get anything. He's looking for a rock hammer. And
oh my God.
I went through the whole thing. And she's just eating it up. So in a couple months, just in a couple months, you can listen to that. So that was a little tease of that. So
that's hilarious.
You love it. I love it. So I think I'm going to try to do that with different movies every.
I want to be a guest one day on this podcast. It sounds like so much fun.
You want to ask her, whenever you want to. We do it on Tuesdays. So there's that. So the first Purge, I mentioned that, and the first Purge is awesome. In a way of like most of the Purge movies are awesome, as in they're my like junk food.
I like the Purge movies.
They're not fantastic films, but they're silly fun, and so I'm gonna sum it up this way: the first Purge is like someone asked the Purge, "Have you seen The Wire?" So it's like half of The Wire, and the other half is Die Hard. And it's awesome.
Oh my God.
So if you like The Wire and Die Hard and like wrapped in a candy coating Purge.
That's cool.
Because the premise is that, it's the first one they have. And so the premise is, and I thought it would be like, all right, this is the first year we're doing the Purge, which is true. But it's like the first year they do it only on one island as an experiment. And so it's this experiment. And so the government has paid people to stay on the island.
Oh, I didn't know it was on an island.
Yeah, it was Staten Island. So,
Okay,
so it's
yeah,
on
yeah.
Staten Island, New York, and so they pay the people to stay on the island, stay on Staten Island, and they'll pay them extra if they purge, regardless of what that means for them. If they'll get
Assuming they survive.
assuming they survive. That's how they get. They never get into that detail, and they give them these cool contact lenses that records. So all the purgers have these glowing blue eyes. It was really, really cool. So and it's basically like, you got your people who live in the town who's like, we don't need a purge. This is stupid, and we're gonna stay in.
Now, the purging. Let me get this straight before we continue.
Sure.
So when you say purging, it doesn't have to be violent. Is it any crime?
Yeah, crime is legal, including murder.
Any kind of crime, right?
Yeah.
So what if your kind of type of crime is not a violent crime?
It's fine. You purged.
All right.
All crime is legal. Now, what the government wants is they want murder because
They're trying to.
So they paint an America that's, we've got an overpopulation problem. We've got housing crisis. We have another housing crisis bubble. The financials, everything, and so that's how the new founding fathers get elected. So regardless of how you feel about Trump, if you think Trump's bad, these guys are like 10 times, a million times worse. Or Hillary's bad. They're like 10,000 million times worse. I mean, they're just like, they're terrible people, and they're like, what? And then they kind of have a Thanos mentality about it. Well, a good way to pay for things is we just kill the population off.
That's right. Kill half the population.
And so this is this experiment trying to see if they can get the population to kill itself. And so, and then of course there's shenanigans because of the government. But my only problem is that the way it ends, it just ends, and it's like I want more. But there's going to be a Purge TV show.
Really?
Yeah, 10-episode television show. They showed a kind of a clip from it. So it's like 10 years after the first Purge, and it's like.
So where's this? What channel? Is it cable or?
It's cable.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
It's but I'll put the trailer in the show notes. How about that?
Awesome.
And then I'll have the thing. So I got a kick out of it. I thought it was.
I want to go see it. It's on my list. I've just been so busy.
I got you. It's a good matinee. It's a good. Don't spend a lot of money on it. It's a good, just a popcorn movie. Saw Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, so don't. No spoilers yet.
It is also a popcorn movie. It's really, if you like the first one, you'll like this one.
Okay.
So when you see it, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I need to go see it. I kind of wanted to take my husband, but he quit. He didn't want to go because he hasn't seen the first one.
Well, minor spoiler for him. He doesn't need to see the first one.
Okay.
He saw Civil War, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he's good.
Okay.
He knows there is an Ant-Man.
Yes.
Right, and that's
all he needs.
They kind of they kind of do a recap fill-in kind of thing. So it's not. It's like this is and honestly, you don't need to know. I mean, the first movie's so kind of throwaway. It's like you figure out who these people are real quick, and then
I'll let them know.
So yeah, go see it. It's worth it. It's fun.
Awesome.
So that's what I've done. I want to go see Skyscraper, which is The Rock's new movie.
Yeah, I haven't decided if I wanted to.
Oh my God, it looks insane. That movie looks like someone who saw like Die Hard and was like, I can do better than that. No, they saw Die Hard and did a ton of cocaine and was like, and they wrote a movie.
There you go.
It's like, all right, so Die Hard meets more cocaine and Terror Inferno, and we'll give Rock one leg and it will be great, and we'll put Nev Campbell in it, and I mean literally, it's I'm like. It's an old school cocaine fueled Hollywood movie, and I'm like really into it. So I don't expect it to be good.
Okay, that's what I was like. It might be fun to go watch, but I don't know.
Right? Yeah, I'm not like but I will see it. I will in theaters because that movie. To see that movie.
Well, you need to see it in a
theater. Because small screen, you just ruin it. I like Justice League, so
yeah.
Which I went back and rewatched this weekend.
Did you really?
I still liked it. I hate your guy in it, though.
Well, I mean, it's not my fault. It's the writing.
Yeah,
it's not really his fault. It's the writing.
They don't do anything with him, and he's not really he's useful.
It's like all they do is give him gratuitous pretty shots, and that's okay with me because he's pretty.
I do like the dressed like a bat. I dig it. I like that kind of. I don't understand why. Like,
I'm hoping that the Aquaman movie is better than I know, right?
Right. Good luck. But I'll tell you this.
DC, why can't you write?
It's okay. It's okay. Justice League is. I don't know. It's not. Don't get me wrong. Not perfect. But I sure did I enjoy it. I
enjoy it.
I love Flash in it. Flash is great.
Flash is funny. He's
hilarious. And he's like, I don't fight. I don't know what.
What?
I like aging Batfleck. The only thing I don't understand is why Batfleck has a crawling machine handy. That doesn't make me just in case I need to go through a tunnel. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Batfleck.
Why not? I mean,
That's overthinking things. Batfleck.
I like that. What's your superpower?
I'm rich. I'm rich.
So I enjoyed it. I've seen it a few times.
It was on HBO. I guess it just released on HBO, and I have HBO now, so I was like, oh, I'll watch this. Watched it Saturday, and was like, hold up. It's not, like I said, it's silly. And if you just accept the fact that these movies are not going to be Marvel movies and they're just going to be silly, they're great. I like the ending. I like with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor, and I'm like, I want to see a Justice, like a Legion of Doom. We won't get it, but I would love it.
It would be cool.
It would be. I would be all for it. But
Legion of Doom.
We'll never get it. Oh well.
Yeah, it just reminds me of my Saturday morning cartoon time back when I was a kid.
Yep.
Watching the Super Friends.
I'm trying to see how many members of the Legion of Doom can you name?
I don't know. God, no. I don't. I'm bad.
I wonder how many I can name. Let's see. Well, there's Lex Luthor and Brainiac. Cheetah.
Yeah, I knew Cheetah was on there.
Black Manta. Solomon Grundy.
Oh, I remember Solomon Grundy.
Gorilla Grog. Because he had the coolest voice. Oh, Gorilla Grog. He was really smart. I'm a gorilla that's smart. And some reason a Flash rogue. Who am I missing? Giganta.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's got to fight both Wonder Woman and Apache Chief.
Yeah.
Captain Cold. Also a Flash rogue. The Joker and Penguin, but they're not in every episode, but they're on the Legion.
Right.
And I think it's Sinestro. And the Riddler. I forgot. So the Riddler and Sinestro.
Right.
I think that's all of them. Score. I'm okay.
So good.
I'm okay.
You are awesome.
Yeah, I can't do math, but I can name the Legion of Doom members from the show.
Woohoo!
I can name. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember much of the Justice League show. Super Friends for a show.
What I remember, like the little music behind it. Meanwhile, back
at the hall.
Yeah, and then I remember that there were the Wonder Twins at one point, and then you had who are those other?
Wendy and Marv.
Yeah, Wendy and Marv with the Super Dog,
with
Wonder Dog,
Wonder Mutt,
whatever. So, yeah.
So.
Would you like the Wonder Twins better?
I do too, but I don't know. I don't know which one. Who was first? Do you know?
I want to say the Mutt.
So Marv and Wendy.
I want to say
because they had no
first.
powers, and they just were like, "Well, Hanna-Barbera is making this cartoon, so let's put these kids in."
Yeah.
And so kids will relate, but they're very 70s out kids.
Right. So I want to say they were first, and then the Wonder Twins came.
I remember there was a comic in like the early 2000s that had them in it, and then. But the Wonder Mutt turned into like some kind of monster and ate Marv and Wendy.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
And I'm like, that's terrible.
And I used to love, on the
By the way,
Marvel side, Spider-Man and his Amazing
Friends.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar.
Firestar, yeah.
Do you know why there's a Firestar?
Because they couldn't put Phoenix in?
No, because they would know because they couldn't do Human Torch.
Human Torch, okay.
Because the powers that be was afraid that children would set themselves on fire to try to imitate the Human Torch. So instead they made Firestar for the show and made her a mutant like Iceman.
Okay.
And gave her microwave powers.
Nice.
That's her. She generates microwaves. And then they wedged her into the comics, and she has a history with the White Queen and the Hellfire Club. And then she just kind of vanishes. I don't know what they've done much with her. So if you're Firestar fans out there,
there you go.
I love Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends.
That was fun. I used to love.
I loved how he had all this computer gear and stuff in his room that he used like a trophy to.
Yeah, and it flipped.
Right, and like.
Aunt May was totally in on.
So who installed it? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't know.
You know.
Tony Stark, probably.
Aunt May's got to go out for. I mean, how long does it take to like? Aunt May's on vacation. We got to put our crime computer stuff in.
I don't know. Maybe Tony Stark set all that up for him. He'd have the money.
He would. I wonder. Aunt May had a dog, and the dog was nosy.
Yeah. Oh, it's the dog that was. For some reason, I thought Aunt May knew about it, but I guess not.
No, Aunt May doesn't know that.
That's right.
That's the big thing.
The dog would be in there.
Yeah, but I can't remember the name of the dog.
Oh, I don't know.
Mrs. something.
Oh.
We're gonna Google.
We're gonna Google this real quick because oh my gosh.
I didn't know.
Miss Lion.
Miss Lion. That's right, Miss Lion. I knew it was Miss something.
Miss Lion. A dog named Miss Lion.
Named Miss Lion.
Yep. I love Google.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What did we do without Google?
We just pretend like we knew stuff,
and we just didn't.
We just didn't know anything. I remember watching Spider-Man and Amazing Friends and Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh, I love Thundar. My cousins and I would play Thundar.
I believe it.
All the time. I was the only girl, so you know who I got stuck being, but.
She's a badass. I don't even remember her name. I just know it's Thundar and Ukuluk the Mook or Mook the Ukuluk. I don't know. I have to look that up too.
Anyway.
Thundar the Barbarian.
It was great. And then Thundercats.
I like Thundercats too. I watched a lot of Thundercats. And I always liked Mum-Ra. I was just like, I wanted Mum-Ra to win.
Oh. And I loved He-Man and She-Ra.
I watched it and I had a bunch of the action figures, but I don't think I was really like crazy about the.
Let's see, we got Thundar, Ookla the Mock, and Princess Ariel.
Princess Ariel, that's what her name was. With a crazy tiara.
Yep.
That's
crazy.
Crazy Thundar.
Ookla the Mock.
The Mook. Yeah.
Whatever.
Because it's supposed because it rhymes. It's supposed to be like Ookla the Mook.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, I didn't realize that some of these voice actors that were in that show.
Yeah, a lot of them are doing.
Joan Van Ark.
Yep.
Nancy McKeon.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, isn't that something?
Yeah.
As a kid, we didn't care.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
All right.
What else I watched? I mean, of course, I watched a lot of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was my show.
I miss Saturday morning cartoons.
Well, I had to explain. I'm going to talk about this in the Star Wars podcast too, and I guess I'll talk about it here too. I talked about it in the Harry Potter one, so I'm just it's because it's on my mind. So, there's a lot of toxicity in the Star Wars fan base right now. There's been all kinds of crazy stuff going on right now. There's other podcasts, none on our network, who have been saying things and harassing Lucasfilm employees.
Just downright ugliness.
Just ugliness. But, anyway, there's been some stuff going on with all that. And then James Gunn, who directs Guardians of the Galaxy, posted something recently on the lines of it. I'm paraphrasing. If you're a grown man who has problems or are upset about how a movie is made, choices made in a movie, maybe you should seek therapy. And on the first thought, I agreed. And then I got thinking about it, and now I disagree.
Okay.
And trust me, I full disclosure, I don't care much for The Last Jedi. Force Awakens is fine. I'm not crazy about the Last Jedi. So, full disclosure. But while I disagree with there's things in the movie I liked, most of the movie I just didn't care for. But I'm not a guy who's like, I'm going to, harass the actress named Rose, who played Rose off Instagram, and I'm not going to do that kind of stuff because you know why? Because I'm not that kind of fan. I can dislike a product and be okay with it. I love Solo, and so
also as a fan, you can dislike the writing, you can dislike direction, But don't come down on actors,
Right,
Because
right.
you didn't like their character.
Right.
It's not, they're given a part,
Right.
and they're being directed, and their lines are written for them.
Right.
So don't do that to people. That's rude.
So I got thinking about this. And so I'm only putting this in the category of people that are kind of our age, who saw Star Wars in our age. So, from 45 to 30. We'll put
Okay.
that 15-year bench, the 15 years before.
Yeah.
We'll do 15 years. We'll do 15 years. You remember those movies come out, and the moment those movies come out, a year later we had action figures. And it was bye. And so that started an explosion of a culture where I got to continue my adventures through the purchases I made. Now, why I don't own it logically, you did make me buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a culture so it's a toxic culture that they created, and now they're trying to figure out how to deal with it in a way that they weren't expecting it, because they didn't expect this. So you've got to, and there's men. It's mostly men. I haven't seen any women come out and do and there may be some, but I'm sorry, I'm going to generalize and say men.
And I can't generalize. And let me comment on that too, because I kind of agree with you. And once again, there's exceptions to every
Right,
rule.
exception, yeah.
You don't see a lot of women action figure collectors
Right,
or toy
right,
collectors.
right, there's not.
I personally do not. I collect Barbies. Ish. I haven't bought any in a long
Right,
time.
right.
But
You have collected
I
Barbies.
have things that I like
Right,
and
right,
I'll
right.
buy, but I don't collect.
Right, and there's there's something in our psyche, in my psyche, because I collect.
Yeah, that
and
is more of a guy thing.
because it's for me it's twofold. I think for a lot of guys it's twofold too. It's cool to have that connection to the nostalgia of stuff I used to have.
Right.
And cool, I get to have it because I've lost it over time or whatever. And it's also now I have the funds now to buy the stuff I always wanted.
Right.
And so, in most adulthood, you're supposed to buy things that are kind of like I left childish things behind, as the saying goes. But because of this misstep in the 80s of materialism in children,
Right.
we're looking at the product of that. I just thought about this the other day. That's why I'm so.
No.
This
you,
is not.
You bring up an interesting point.
So I was explaining this to Justina about Harry Potter
Uh-huh.
and the fans of Harry Potter. Now, at the moment, we don't really see toxicity in that fan group. We also don't see that kind of merchandising because it came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, where the government had stepped in and curtailed what for us was the 30-minute commercials that we got as our entertainment.
Right.
My Little Pony, G.I. Joe, Transformers were nothing but 30-minute.
Right.
You had to buy the
toys.
and it was so bad. It's hindsight's 2020. It was so bad then that when Hasbro was just trying to clear out a toy line and make a new toy line, they killed Optimus Prime out because they were like, we got new toys. We're going to get rid of the old toys. And children got upset. Today, people are still upset that he died in that movie.
Right.
Because they sold us that.
Right.
And so we haven't, as man-baby fans, haven't been able to reconcile that in this new. So we've got all this headcanon that, you as being Lucasfilm and Hasbro and all, Kenner and all that other stuff, told us to buy.
Right.
And while I don't have ownership of the movies, you did sell me the fantasy.
I mean, that's true.
You did sell me the fantasy, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm in a weird spot because as an adult, I'm trying to reconcile this and I can't. So instead of reconciling like I should be able to, I lash out. So I go and I harass actresses, or I have because it doesn't turn out the way.
And it's not fair, and it's. I understand what you're saying,
Right.
being feeling upset about it, but as adults, you have to focus a little bit better on what you're really mad at, and not lash out on innocent people. I'm talking about
totally
these
agree
people.
because I find it all silly. But when James Gunn said that they need therapy, it got me thinking about it. We're a product of what they created. and they don't know how to deal with it. Neither do we.
Right.
So we're lashing out at each other.
Well, that makes you made a perfect case because there's I have someone I follow on Twitter who is a collector.
Right.
And he posted a poll. What do you do with your items that you purchase? Do you open them? Do you never open them? What And he made this poll, and I selected open them because that's how I am.
All right.
And it's like, and my reasoning, I said, why? For me, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to take it out and play with it.
Right.
That's how I am. Know. But growing up, being a girl, we got different toys.
Right.
Now, mind you, I wanted all the Star Wars toys growing up. I wasn't allowed to have them because I already had a problem with being a tomboy, and my parents always tried to adjust me by buying me girl stuff.
Right, because I get it.
But I had guy friends, that neighborhood friends that I would go to their house and play with their action figures all the time. But I guess I never had that big connection because I never had the items in the first place. Right. Which is probably why I still collect Barbies, because that's what I play with. Right. So I get it.
The same thing.
But Barbie's Barbie. It's not a, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So it's
totally
a little different. So I just look at toys. It's like I see these big collectors, and my first thought is, what the hell are you guys doing with all that? What are you going to do with all that stuff? That's what in my mind. That's what I'm thinking. What do you do with it?
Exactly. But full disclosure. When I turned of age where I could work, and my first crappy job, when I got my first quote unquote real paycheck, I scrimped and saved, and the very first thing I bought myself was a 1985 Power of the Force Han Solo in carbonite action figure. Because I love Han Solo and carbonite. It's my favorite scene in the movie, and we've talked about that ad nauseum. But I never had one as a kid, and I always wanted one. I've since sold it, and I would like to get another one. I've thought about. I look on eBay every now and then. It's about $300, and it's like, I don't know when I want to drop $300 on that. But it's and it's a terrible looking toy. It's like this weird clear plastic that doesn't really look like him. The Han Solo figure that's in the carbonite has no neck, so it could fit into the carbonite block. Gosh. It's ridiculous. I'll post a picture in the show notes, but me being that fan, that's the first one I bought, and then I actually sold it when I went to college. One of the things I sold to go back to college in. But I get it. I am. Well, I can speak for Star Wars action figure collectors. It's almost like an even split nowadays about looser or package. Vintage stuff, if you find it in package, people tend to keep it in package because it's 40 years old, or almost, in some cases 35 to 40 years old. So you kind of want to keep it in package as long as you can. A lot of stuff you can't find anymore. Right. Newer stuff, the biggest argument is between points of articulation. So seriously, there's a huge conversation about your old school Star Wars figure had 5 points of articulation: his arms, his legs, his head. Okay. Each joint moved. Right. And then some of these newer ones have up to 20, where they're arms and wrists and everything. And adult collectors like them because they can take them and do action poses and take photos and stuff. I get that and everything. But again, for a while, I would like to say Hasbro's primary market is 5-year-olds. Right. Who don't care about the articulation, but I don't have any kids, so I can't argue. I have to confess something. Sure. As far as toys go, I raised boys, and I remember absolutely loving to go to the store and buy them toys because they were boy toys that I could never have. Right. Now, mind you, we weren't collecting. I was buying them for my kids. Right. No. But my favorite thing is my kids had I don't know what sizes. I'm showing Scotty something. What sizes? Maybe they're I think they were probably the 12-inch. They were the big, but the X-Men. Yeah, they did a 10 and 12 inch. Yeah, 10 inch. Yeah, that they would play with. So my kids had
all the X-Men and Marvel stuff. And
Right.
It was so much fun. 'Cause I was like, this is the coolest stuff ever.
Oh yeah.
So I remember that and getting a lot of joy out of playing with my kids' toys.
I hate to be like the old man, but I think even though that era has created some toxic people, and it has, and I don't know what the solution is. I think maybe it is therapy, or I'm not sure, but I think both sides need to look at the root cause, and I think that's the root cause. And I don't have a psychology degree. Just looking at it as what's our root cause. And the reason why it came up because we were talking about Harry Potter, and Harry Potter didn't have this merchandising. And I had to explain to Justina, who she's way younger than us, about the fact there were
Harry Potter's
30-minute commercials for toys.
Yeah, Harry Potter's world of merchandising is completely different anyway. It's more fashion, really, than anything.
A lot of immersive play, a lot of dress up and make believe play.
Right. So it's not necessarily
not
action figures.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of action figures.
It's wearables.
They have action figures for adult collectors, but I haven't really seen them for kids.
No, it's
and I could be wrong, but
there might have been when the movies first.
I know there's some Lego stuff too, but
but I just know that most of the stuff for Harry Potter world is just wearables.
Yeah, just so it's just thought it was interesting. Anyway, so that's how we got on that tangent, but I just thought it was interesting.
Okay, so if our listeners, if you are a collector, a big collector, I'm curious, what do you do with your collections? Are you collecting just to have, so you can say you have? Do you play with them? Do you take them out? Do you collect so you can sell? Let me know. Find me on Twitter. Email me. All the information to get to me is on the website.
On the website, yeah, on the page.
Oh, it's not? I don't know.
No, it's on the page.
It is? Yeah, it's all on our web page. I am legit curious.
I can tell you, for me, right now, currently, I'm I just keep them in tubs. And
not the bathtub.
No, just plastic tubs. One day when I get my new place, I'm going to make a room for all of it.
Display.
But I've curtailed my collection to something specific. I'm really, really, really specific on what I get, and mostly what I collect is Star Wars Rebels toys, because I love the show, and so I've got that merchandise. There's not a lot of it, so anytime I can grab some, I grab some.
It's kind of like me. I have several Star Wars items, but they're all stormtroopers, different stormtroopers, because that's what I like. So if I had space, I would buy some more stormtrooper stuff, but I'm not one just to have stuff to have stuff.
You can follow me on Twitter at Scotty White. You can go to the website, scottywhite.com, where you probably listen to this podcast.
There you
go. Of course, we have Facebook at Mopcast, facebook.com/Mopcast Network. Mopcast has a Facebook page. Twitter is too. You can find Stephanie at.
You can find me on Stephanie S. Ward 1 on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram, always Stephanie. You can find me from the website, scottywhite.com.
This is me saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours!
Whoop!
Whoop!
Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Mopcast Network, on Facebook.com/Mopcast Network, or just visit us at Mopcast.com. And remember, this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
Thank you for listening to the Mopcast Network.